why you want to start with the Binance? Because there's a lot of options as well.
Crypto was not going to overthrow TradFi. It's going to complement, and they're going to coexist.
What will be your number one advice to all newcomers in the crypto?
But what this is a new opportunity. It's a generational opportunity.
Is the crypto the fastest way to get rich?
You want that instant dopamine? Go to the casino.
Kimsin sen? Bu sefer farklı bir formatta yapılıyor. Şu anda Binance Clubhouse'dayız, Dubai'deyiz ve yanımızda Bader var. Thank you for your coming here.
My pleasure.
I'm glad that you're here too. First of all, I have a little concept that you probably know, the who are you? So who are you, Bader?
Badr Kelouti from Kuwait, father of two. That's my most proud achievement.
That's really great.
Been living in Dubai for 15 years, with Binance for 3 years now. I'm currently looking after the MENASAT region, so it's MENA, South Asia, and Turkey on the .com side. Been a fan of crypto since 2017.
You're pretty old in the sector.
Relatively. Yeah.
Can we say you're a crypto millionaire? Can we say that?
No, wouldn't be here if that was the case.
That was the final road. Yeah, you're right.
No, I'm very passionate about kind of watching this industry grow and being a part of Binance, one of the leading ecosystems in Web3, not just the leading exchange, leading ecosystem.
Definitely.
To help, build this industry and push it forward to the next level. So it's been a fantastic journey. Previous to getting into the Web3 space with Binance, I was a serial entrepreneur. Started some tech companies based out of Dubai. And then a long, long time ago, I was an investment banker with Citigroup doing...
Oh, you were a banker?
Yeah. So yeah, that's, the highlights.
That's really great. So according to your speech, I can understand that crypto changed your life, right?
I can say so. Absolutely.
So what is the best thing that crypto changed your life? I'm not talking about the money in here. You understand me?
It's not about money. It's about passion. And I think, one thing that I think makes any founder extremely successful is, having a passion and a mission to believe in that drives you to kind of constantly overcome challenges.
Yeah.
And kind of, the will to make it work, right? And so I think crypto and Web3 for me gives me that kind of energy and inspiration and motivation to keep kind of like building and pushing and enjoying what I do on a daily basis. And that's a very important part of anyone's life, right?
Yeah, definitely. The discipline is perfect. Yeah.
Is key to, one of the key ingredients for happiness. And for me, I think, this new chapter in my life with Web3 is super fascinating. It's a lot of ups and downs. But it gives me that sense of purpose and excitement because I truly believe in what the principles of Web3 and blockchain technology can do for our world today.
Yes, definitely. But you said that you're a father of two children. So when you entered the crypto, did your family said something bad about crypto? Because you were in the banker, you were in the tech company, so that's a normal, regular jobs for everybody accept that. But when you just turned into crypto, did you get any bad reviews or how can I say that? Anything bad about that?
Absolutely. I heard it from the wife, from my father, from my mother, from my grandfather. All of them are like, what are you doing? What is this thing? Bitcoin. Okay, what is that about?
Exactly.
That time, that was the only thing that they actually knew. Crypto was synonymous to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But look, I think they trusted my instinct. Tried to explain to them at a high level why it's interesting. And I said exactly this. I remember saying to my father, the fact that you don't think I should do it is exactly why I should do it, because you always in life have to take the contrarian play, right? Any disruptive technology in the beginning, they all had one similar story. Someone said, no, this is stupid, don't do it.
And this is why you need to start that point.
Exactly, and then they were proven wrong, right?
That's really great.
All disruptive technology. So that was a good kind of like anecdotal sign for me.
That's right. But Binance is your first company at the crypto, right?
Yes.
Then second question is that why you want to start with the Binance? Because there's a lot of options as well. You can start with any other exchanges, maybe other crypto project, because you're coming from the tech, so you can go that. Maybe DeFi projects can also be there because you're also similar. Why Binance?
Why is a very simple answer. I think because Binance ticks a lot of the boxes that you would need in order to kind of successfully build a career in the Web3 space, right? It has, multifaceted parts of its ecosystem, whether it's the exchange, whether it's, looking at the education, because that's crucial to kind of getting this industry to cross that chasm into mainstream adoption. So Binance Academy is critical. So it has a lot of elements to keep you kind of engaged and excited. Besides just being the leading exchange, it's got a lot of other things to offer. So that was very interesting. It's also like one big lab, in my opinion, like that, as an entrepreneur and someone who likes to innovate, using the Binance ecosystem to help come up with ideas and build new products is super fascinating because the distribution is the largest distribution in the world, right? So that's very important for someone who wants to kind of build innovative products. Third is, the founding team and the leadership team. That's critical. Anytime you join a company, you are ultimately buying into the vision and the mission and the, kind of the management of the founders. I time, CZ running Binance. So to me, that was a great kind of pull factor for me because he's one of the greatest founders out there.
Of
But
course.
then even post his departure, he left behind a strong bench of co-founders and with Richard Teng, our CEO, to continue in that kind of philosophy and that approach with Binance. So it kind of remained the same, but that's very important. So great organization, leading position in the market, fantastic leadership team. And then I think what was also important at the time is that understanding that they are willing to change and drive the change as a leader in the industry despite all the challenges. Because in order for crypto to thrive, you need to become compliant. It's crystal clear.
Yeah, definitely.
Crypto was not going to overthrow TradFi. It's going to complement and they're going to coexist. And in order to do that, in order to kind of think long term, you had to find a way to regulate and to pursue regulation.
Definitely.
So that willingness was a strategic move because that's the long-term success for the industry. And I like that approach that they had an open mind to do that.
That you're not coming here for the tomorrow or yesterday.
Exactly. It's not a
You're
short
coming for the long-term thing.
Exactly.
That's great. So you learn a lot of things because of the inside of the Binance, I guess, from your superiors, from the C-levels executives in here. Because you are new in the ecosystem, only 3 years, as you said, in the crypto. What is the most important knowledge that you get, actually? That code for the career, for the motivation, maybe it can be everything.
Okay. So specifically to Web3, the change, the pace, the velocity of change is so fast, right?
Definitely.
That the disruptor can get disrupted like in a blink of an eye. Okay? And so you have to be able to manage that change and be ahead of the curve. So you need to be kind of forward looking, like, you don't want to skate to where the puck is, you want to skate to where it's going. So you need to always anticipate what's next. What could be the next hot narrative? What is the next use for blockchain technology to disrupt? How do you adapt to new trends in the industry? So having this ability to kind of, I would say, multitask while staying on top of a very fast moving environment is a unique skill set. But when you kind of like learn to kind of hone it, it becomes very, very beneficial to you in anywhere.
Yeah, that's your definitely. Now it's your turn to give a good starting point for the newcomers. What will be your number one advice to all newcomers in the crypto?
For me, it's, I'm not going to talk on the investor side. We can talk about that from a builder's perspective. I would say number one, a lot of the things that I see today are that people are coming up with the solution without thinking about what the problem it is they're trying to solve. That's the wrong way of thinking about it.
I agree.
There are so many problems in the world today where blockchain can make it much more effective and much more
Definitely,
efficient
hundreds of
and
them.
solve for it, right? So start there. Think about a problem. Then you apply blockchain and Web3 principles to solve that problem. The bigger the problem, the better, because you have a larger
Audience.
target market, right? And then, obviously you need to understand that, okay, blockchain increases efficiency, increases transparency, and democratizes value for all the participants in that network. So that's the value proposition that you're working with.
Yeah.
You can apply that to all industries. So you have a clean slate where you look at things you want to disrupt. Supply chain, logistics, financial services, education, healthcare. So there's a lot of places to look. But just start with the problem that you're trying to solve and then come up with a solution.
They're just starting at the wrong part. They're just creating the solutions first and they're trying to find a problem
We want to
afterwards.
build sustainable use cases for crypto because the next phase of this cycle, in my opinion, is going to be a flight to quality and a flight to utility.
Definitely. I definitely agree with that. So I will just start with a little bit fire chat questions on that. Is the crypto the fastest way to get rich?
You tell me.
No, I'm not looking at the question here. You're getting
Not
that.
your private jet outside?
Did they tell you? That was a mystery.
No, look, I think slow and steady wins the race, okay? People should have a long-term view when it comes to crypto. And the ones who kind of come in to try and make a quick buck will more than likely get burnt. Only a select handful of people, ratio-wise, end up coming into crypto, making a quick buck, and retiring happily ever after. That's the wrong way to think.
But it's only about the mental, actually. Normally, they're thinking about the gambling in the crypto. This is the problem. They are not looking as investments.
You want that instant dopamine? Go to the casino.
Exactly. There is no difference between roulette and the 100x.
Exactly. But what this is a new opportunity. It's a generational opportunity where a secular trend is coming into fruition, where things are going to get transformed. Okay? You have that with the internet, you have that with smartphones. Now you have it with AI and crypto at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's compounded. That's
Definitely.
a massive opportunity. All you have to do is pick the right narratives, pick the quality projects you believe in, and just have a long-term view, and the rest will solve itself. Don't get caught up in the hype. Don't get scared of the volatility. That's part of the process of an asset class maturing, right? So sit back, have a long-term perspective, and I think over the long term they'll be better off in this.
Definitely agree. So I want to ask you a question, but you already give the answer. Trade or hold? Hold always, right? No need for that.
Only a few people can beat the market trading, even in equities, right? So
Exactly.
just hold. That's the best tried and tested strategy. If it works for Buffett,
Yeah, exactly. We have a really good public figure on that one. So, will ever Bitcoin reach $1 million? What do you think?
look, I don't have a crystal ball, right?
Of course.
What I can tell you is, today Bitcoin, which is arguably the digital equivalent of gold, is around 10% the market share of what gold is today, around 20 trillion. Okay. Now, in my opinion, I think if you look at the properties of what makes something a safe haven asset, which gold is today, which is basically anti-inflationary store of value,
Yeah.
it's scarcity, reliability, right, portability, and divisibility. Okay.
Of course.
Arguably, Bitcoin does four out of those things, or let's just, four out of these things better. It's more divisible. It can be stored in your pocket. You don't need big banks and big vaults to protect all the gold. It's arguably more scarce than gold. The thing that gold has against Bitcoin is that its stability and its reputation that it's built over 1,000 years. But this is going to change for Bitcoin, right? As more institutional investors come in, it'll be less volatile. As more time passes and more governments start to use Bitcoin for strategic reserves, adding more credibility, that will help Bitcoin kind of catch up to gold in that kind of criteria.
Yeah.
And then over time, I think, they will both coexist, and you'll have, different strokes for different folks. Younger generation will want to allocate to Bitcoin as opposed to gold when it comes to kind of looking for for hedges against inflation or store of value. So it's very realistic that gold takes, if the Bitcoin moves up to 25%, 30%, 35% market share of
course.
gold is today, and that would give you a $1 million.
Okay, so it's a crystal clear. I guess we can go there eventually.
I'd say you did.
Of course. What do you think about the crypto? Is it a life-changing revolution or is it just a hype?
I think it definitely is a life-changing revolution, right? I think, let's separate the two. You have crypto, then you have Bitcoin.
Okay.
Bitcoin and crypto are part of basically
The blockchain, yeah.
the blockchain, and they have the different use cases, right? So for argument's sake, I think the two hero assets of crypto, if you want to include it in the term, that's fine, is Bitcoin as a store of value and then stable coins as a transfer of value. Okay?
Yeah.
Those two things have proven themselves over the last 2-3 years with amazing traction and powerful use cases. Bitcoin today is being used by governments, institutions, corporates for treasury management, hedge funds and pension funds as a new asset class to allocate to, retail investors that want to kind of store their value in markets where currency is devaluating and there's high inflation. So that to me, and you have obviously a market cap of around 2 trillion now. So that is a proven use case. Stable coins is solving another problem. Transferring money around the globe.
Yeah,
is
in just a second without lower fees.
cost.
Of course, it's a perfect thing.
Again, being used by all types of personas, corporates, institutions, retail, etc. So those two things have proven that the blockchain technology is not just a hype and it can be used when applied the right way for changing people's lives for the better. The last thing I would say is that, you can also say that from my perspective in the region that I cover, there's a lot of people that are either underbanked or not banked. And crypto and blockchain is a great way to leapfrog lagging banking systems, to have people to give people the chance to earn money, save money, invest in
A lot of options.
create wealth for themselves, preserve wealth, etc., earn yield. Right, so it's definitely not a hype. I mean, that discussion is
Out of the table. Yeah. Okay, then the governments are a huge problem for the crypto, as you know. So, will crypto kill the governments or governments will kill the crypto? What do you think? Neither?
Crypto and governments will learn to coexist together for the benefit of everybody. And this whole notion of killing crypto, I think Operation Choke Point proved that it's not the right thing to do objectively, and it doesn't work, right? People have spoken and people want to use blockchain technology to better lives, right? I think what we're seeing today is that we're understanding that they're not mutually exclusive, right?
Yeah.
They can actually find ways to coexist, and that's why we have regulations, is to set
this
that
is why.
playbook of how crypto and traditional systems can work together for the better and utilize the benefits that crypto and blockchain bring to solve issues that we have with legacy systems and structures.
That's what you're really believing the ecosystem, actually. So, if you're not in the crypto right now, how much will you regret in the 2025? Just think about it.
For me, the way I try to frame it to my friends and like my father actually is that, look, when Apple was around and Amazon was around back in the late 90s, 2000s, why didn't you invest in this disruptive technology?
Exactly.
It seemed skeptical at the time that the internet was going to change the world. It became skeptical at the time that the smartphone was going to revolutionize the way we interact with the world, that we're going to buy things online. But look at what happened today.
Exactly.
You have to take a long-term view, understand the potential of this transformational technology, and allocate a small portion to it. You know,
Of course,
so you don't
yeah,
miss
yeah.
out. Allocate something that you're not afraid to lose, that you can
Don't lose your sleep
exactly,
afterwards.
that you're comfortable losing, right? It just gives you the upside, and the downside becomes negligible. It's something that you're willing to lose. The upside
Definitely.
is
You
massive.
missed everything, at least on this crypto. Just do something.
I don't want my son or
Something.
my daughter to come to me and say, Baba, ya Ahmar, why don't you buy Bitcoin?
What will you tell them? Of course.
Right? I just want to preempt that conversation, right?
That's really great, actually. So, what is the biggest myth that people believe in crypto? What do you think?
Look, I think the biggest one is around the fact that they presume that crypto is tied to illicit activity, right? And that it facilitates illicit activity. You know, that maybe had more merit back in the day, the early start of crypto as a nascent industry, when, you know, things were just shaping up. And that was normal with any industry. Like, you have to figure out how to put the guardrails in place.
Of course.
Today, we've transformed the way kind of, you know, we operate in the crypto space, and we've introduced a lot of, you know, key changes to prevent this concern. AML requirements, regulations, people now have to
course.
KYC, transaction monitoring on chain is a lot better now. And in fact, blockchain technology helps you bat illicit activities simply because blockchain technology makes everything traceable and everything more transparent.
Definitely.
So,
This is the best thing about the
exactly.
blockchain. Yeah.
And it just took time for the industry to figure out how to use it in the right way. But this is a stigma that carries over from before that's no longer there. In fact, data doesn't lie. According to chain analysis, right, the percentage of illicit activity in crypto today is around 0.15%. Last year was 0.6%. So it's been drastic
very
improvement, and it's continuing to improve. Whereas if you look at in the, you know, traditional fiat world, funds associated with illicit activity are around 5% of global GDP. So
Definitely. It's much more safer,
much more,
actually.
yeah, because the technology allows for it, right?
Yeah.
So I think
but
that's
there's a definitely it's coming from it's just coming from that side. People are still thinking, oh, crypto is for illegal thing. Crypto is not safe. They're using for bad things money.
much safer now. Things have improved
Definitely.
dramatically.
Do you think it will be a next Bitcoin in the ecosystem? Is there something like that?
Look, in my opinion, there is no next Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a monopoly in the digital store of value, in my opinion, and there can only be one. For that specific use case, I think, like, there's, you know, there's gold, and there's silver and stuff like that, but that doesn't really come close to gold.
Of course.
So this is why Bitcoin is so fascinating. It has no competition in the crypto world. It has a unique use case, right, that only Bitcoin can kind of, you know, fulfill. And I think it has that network effect right now. It's the largest compute system in the world that no one can replace what Bitcoin does in the crypto space. Bitcoin can only do more things, but no one can take over what Bitcoin is today as a potential kind of safe haven or store of value. It's working its way up there. Like I told you, it has to handle a few things with, you know, reduced volatility, etc. And now, you know, governments are allocating to it as a strategic reserve. So it will, in my opinion, get to that, you know,
eventually
a store of value. From there, it could also move to become sound money if the network upgrades allow for it to be faster, so that settlement time is less, transaction costs are less, and then maybe even become a global currency reserve one day.
Why not?
So
not yet.
Not
The technologies
yet.
cannot allow that.
yes,
Not yet.
I'm saying in the future, but I'm saying in general, I don't think there can be another crypto that does what Bitcoin does today. I think it has a unique situation on its own, which makes it extra compelling. If you look at other blue chips, you know, on the operating infrastructure of blockchain, then you have your layer ones and you have other, you know, utility-driven
Of course.
protocols, whether it's stablecoin related, whether it's real-world assets, tokenization, that could become, you know, obviously big and have, you know, the same kind of like gravitas as Bitcoin, but in a different use case.
Definitely. So you didn't say anything about the other projects. Now I want to get the answer from you. I really want to. Give me your top three on that one. Top three blockchain projects.
Cannot.
But I cannot. I will not say.
You will give me the job. We cannot discuss any. Look, I can talk about narratives, right? I don't
Of course. Of course.
Specific projects. I think, you know, the layer one narrative will continue to be super important, right? I think especially at this scale and with the adoption of institutions, we need to have layer ones that are battle tested, that are, you know, highly secure, that can handle, you know, amazing throughput and not compromise security and safety, so that institutions can trust it, and we can start to have meaningful traction on RWAs and tokenization, and mass adoption is able to come in with a seamless experience. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think layer ones is important.
Of course.
I think RWAs are also going to be
Yeah.
interesting.
It's going to be a really, really
Exactly.
use case.
A lot of
That's nice.
opportunity. And then I think AI.
AI.
Those things.
Gaming?
Look, gaming is an interesting one, and I do see the benefits of blockchain because, like I said, it's all about democratization of value.
Yeah.
And gaming is well positioned to capitalize on kind of the cryptonomics and the blockchain solutions that can, engage with players in a better way. NFTs can kind of become a part of the gaming ecosystem that users can kind of own within the game. So I definitely think that it has potential. I just think more and more quality games need to be produced. People are not going to pay the game just because it has an NFT.
Yeah, of
or
course.
it's built on
Yeah.
crypto. No, gamers are gamers. They're focused on the quality. So
Yeah, they want to play the game first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So once the quality of the game goes to the level of traditional games, right, and then the kind of cherry on top becomes the crypto element and the blockchain element, and I think it will definitely thrive as well.
That's really great. Okay, we couldn't get the names for the project names, but we can get the narratives. What do you want to say to the Turkish community in here?
I want to say thank you to the Turkish community. You guys are one of the most amazing communities out there in crypto, super sophisticated, super passionate. You guys have been phenomenal. Thanks for all the support, and wishing you all the best.
Thank you for everything that.
Thank you.
Yes, that was really great. Thank you.